What is your earliest movie memory?
I'm sure that I watched some Disney movies when I was really young. I do vaguely remember Bambi.
Is this on TV or in the theater?
Probably on TV. The earliest movie that I can recall seeing in the theater is Disney's The Black Cauldron.
Yeah, that's a scary one.
Yeah, and that might have been my first introduction to fantasy, actually.
Huh.
So I was hooked from the beginning.
My first exposure to fantasy was Rankin Bass's The Hobbit, which I watched as an adult, and it holds up. It's not bad.
It isn't bad. Yeah, I
it's just
watched
it
it about a year
condenses
ago
the story
again.
so much.
I actually really like the music in it.
Yeah.
It's got that sort of 70s folk music feel, you know? And then I remember my mom and dad took us to see King Kong.
Uh-huh.
I think it was a 1976 one, I think.
Oh, with Jessica Lange.
Yeah. It was a double feature, and the film after it was the first time I ever saw a woman's boobs. And, like, I was so embarrassed by that I hid under a blanket in the back seat for the rest of the movie.
Welcome to the Basement, Brad Knight.
Thank you.
I have a movie in this envelope. You don't know what it is. It's impossible that you would know because you have normal human vision. But I'm going to reveal it in just a few seconds, and then we're going to watch it on the couch, and we're going to discuss it here.
I can't wait.
We were just talking about formative childhood experiences a few minutes ago, and wouldn't it be wonderful if you could become a child again?
It would.
One might even say it would be a magical experience.
Sure.
Well, I have a tale here that's all about magic and childhood, known as Pinocchio.
Oh, nice. I have never seen this, and it looks good.
Released in 2002, Pinocchio stars Roberto Benigni, Nicoletta Braschi, his wife, Mino Billet, and many other Italian actors. All of the voices in the US version, which we will be watching today, were dubbed by English-speaking actors such as Breckin Meyer, Glenn Close, Eric Idle, John Cleese, Cheech Marin, Queen Latifah, Jim Belushi, Regis Philbin, and on and on and on.
That's an insane mix of people.
Yes, it is. The film was directed by Benigni and written by Benigni and Vincenzo Cerami. This movie has a 0% freshness rating on RottenTomatoes.com.
That's difficult.
And was described by David Rooney in Variety as lacking in personality, energy, magic, and humor.
I can't wait to watch it.
In 2019, there was another Italian version of Pinocchio, directed by Matteo Garrone, and starring Signora Benigni as Geppetto. And there's another reason that I chose this movie for us tonight. Because once upon a time, back around 2002, we were shooting a video, and the poster behind us is this movie.
Oh my god, I don't have a recollection of that. That is amazing.
When anyone attempts to bring a classic story to the silver screen, it involves decisions. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Sometimes maybe more bad than good. Anyway, this gift might help you if you have decisions to make in your life.
Oh, thank you. Well, look at that. A mini Magic 8-Ball. I used to have a full-size version. I don't have it anymore, so this will come in very handy.
You can finally make decisions again.
Yes, actually works.
Please come and join us on the old leather couch where we'll have no strings to hold us down as we take in the Italian rendition of Pinocchio.
Once upon a time,
there was an infestation. Pinocchio begins with a fantastic carriage. On it are Medoro
and Madame Fairy.
That magical butterfly causes the dawn to awaken, and the whole world gets to its business.
The butterfly decides to land on this log, which sends it careening through town,
seemingly with a life of its own. Oh, my face is all smashed. A butterfly touches a log and suddenly all of the laws of Sir Isaac Newton are ignored.
Now that's what I call a butterfly effect.
It does have a life of its own because it's got a little boy trapped inside. It rolls to the door of
Geppetto the carpenter.
That log starts talking to him, and he starts carving it into a wooden puppet.
you're made out of pine.
That's true.
Let me call you Pinocchio. I have made you a hat out of bread. Oh, isn't that something?
Could you make me a hat out of hat? Oh, look, it's an old man.
Hey, I'm a 50-year-old boy.
And that puppet is rambunctious. He can't stop moving. ADHD is a tough thing in young boys.
Yeah.
He runs off into the world. He can't be controlled. This character is slightly less manic than the real-life Roberto Benigni.
Yes. He really had to tone it down for this film.
I wonder where Papa is. What a fantastic day I've been having.
I wish I could make my mind and my mouth stop moving, but it's just not going to happen. He hears a voice.
Who's there?
I'm Cricket, lover of wisdom, seeker of truth.
And minister of silly walks. Hey, Pinocchio, you need to go to school. You need to be a good boy, or else you'll probably turn into a donkey. He doesn't want advice. He just wants to run around.
Eating, drinking, playing, snoozing all day long.
Running, smashing, banging, talking.
Brad, I'm already exhausted.
So am I.
He tries to kill the cricket with a hammer, and it doesn't work.
Papa.
I brought you some lithium.
Go to school and use this book I bought for you.
It's called AB. It will tone your midsection. He tries to obey his papa.
Pinocchio is very easily distracted.
There's a puppet theater in town. He sells his school book for 4 cents, and he goes to the show. All of the puppets on stage recognize him as one of their own, and they invite him up. Come up here and join your fellow abominations. The show is just jumping and noise-making. You know, entertainment. I want my 4 cents back. There's a giant. He takes Pinocchio backstage. He's gonna cook him and eat him. Now you all have COVID.
He sneezes when he gets emotional.
If you can make him sad enough,
He can sneeze some more and you can escape.
Are both your parents still alive?
My papa is, and my mama.
my mama was a set of tools. So Pinocchio starts telling lies. Yeah, lies, right? Pinocchio, lies. But the thing you expect to happen doesn't happen yet. He tells the giant the sob story about his family and how they're all dead. He takes a liking to Pinocchio because of the hardships of his life. And he gives him 5 pieces of gold and sends him back to his papa. He runs into a cat and a fox.
I have 5 beautiful pieces of real gold.
The cat and the fox are ne'er-do-wells, and they're going to steal that money from the naive puppet.
Excuse us for not having introduced ourselves.
And excuse us for being very grotesque.
The cat and I have a fine reputation. We are refined gentlemen.
We would like to murder you and dump your body in the finest ravine. They tell him... Miracle. They tell him there's a place called Miracle Meadow. You can bury gold in the ground, it grows into a tree, and then you'll have all the gold you'll ever need. Pinocchio is walking around in the night, and he's set upon by Fox and Cat.
Your money or your life. Your life.
Assassins!
They're not necessarily assassins. They might be brigands or cut purses.
Yeah,
He finds the home of the Blue Fairy, and he begs her for help. He manages to stash his coins in the bushes,
we're going to string you up and hang you from this tree.
leaving him for dead, or the closest approximation for a wooden puppet.
How I wish I could go outside and rescue him. Madame Fairy comes out and brings him down, takes him into her house.
I am unable to find any symptoms of life in this puppet.
I am a partially shaved Ewok.
Drink this before you know it.
You'll be ready to party. This is gonna get you real messed up. She asks him questions.
He proceeds to tell her a bunch of lies. Now, when he lies to Madame Fairy,
His nose gets longer. This is what happens when you lie. So you shouldn't lie. The next time you lie, your bones will begin to dissolve.
Come back soon. I'll wait for you.
by that I mean I'll serve you food in a restaurant.
Pinocchio says he'll be a good boy, he'll go to school, he won't lie, yada yada yada. He goes back out.
He runs into Fox and Cat again.
Hey, I still got that gold, guys.
The Meadow of Miracles.
They bury the gold in the hole.
We just take a little stroll, come back in a half an hour.
The tree takes a little bit of time to grow. He tries to find his gold. The cricket shows up and tells him he's been hoodwinked. I'm going to go to a judge and I'm going to tell him what happened to me and that he's going to put those 2 in jail. The judge doesn't believe him. Judge has got a monkey face.
With the powers vested in me by the noble king,
Eep, eep, oop, oop. That is my judgment.
put him in jail for 5 years.
Why?
In you go.
Thank you, Che Guevara. He goes into his cell and meets a handsome young man named Leonardo, and he's just getting out of jail.
Then some kind of riot happens or something.
And he escapes from jail. He sees this tombstone. It's the Blue Fairy.
She died of grief because of Pinocchio. Oh, Fairy, be alive, Fairy! Be alive! Be alive!
The hills be alive!
Excuse me, young man. You wouldn't happen to know a puppet named Pinocchio, would you?
Ooh, bird is first. Bird is first.
Then I suppose you know Geppetto. For more than 4 months, the poor man has been searching the world for you.
I'm Queen Latifah, you know, the raptor.
At last, I'm gonna see my papa again!
He's about to sail off to sea to see if Pinocchio's in another country.
Papa, it's me! Papa dear!
He dives into the sea.
To try and save him, but it doesn't work. He's moping around in town.
School always gives me a tummy ache. It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, pain in the butt. Yeah, exactly. The fairy is not dead. She's still alive. And she still believes in him. Take this book. Go to school. Okay, I'll do it. He sees some kids playing around.
Puppet!
Oh, they're killing Waldo.
One of the children is killed.
I'll die.
Yep. Just dies right there in the street like a dog. Don't get your DNA on him, Pinocchio. Just run.
All right, what's happening here?
You've left all kinds of follicles and fingerprints all over the corpse.
Pinocchio is blamed for it.
He escapes, gets his foot caught in a bear trap. Yeah, this is a weird story, right? And this farmer says, you're caught in my trap. Now you're my property. I want you to be my guard dog. If someone comes and tries to steal my cabbages or whatever, you bark at them like a dog. This is some twisted stuff, folks. It's late night. He's in his doghouse. He hears a noise.
And it turns out to be his old friend Leonardo.
Leonardo sets him free. He goes back to the Blue Fairy's house. He's doing Jacob Marley cosplay.
He sure is.
He lies again. His nose gets long and then it gets short.
I wanted to go to school. I really meant to go, but you can't imagine what happened.
I really have had enough of this voice. I wish that from here on out, Pinocchio would just communicate with a series of clicks and whistles.
So she will forgive me, that wonderful fairy. So I told myself, go home and see what she has to say.
And then I had an itch on my forehead, so I scratched it with my right hand. And then I turned to the left and I said to myself, wow, what time is it? Oh, it's great. It's midday. So then I sat down for about 42 minutes.
Go to school. Be a good boy, and you'll stop being a puppet. You'll be a real boy. Okay, I'll do it. We're starting this cycle again. He sees his pal Leonardo.
Tomorrow, I'll stop being a puppet and become a boy, just like you, a real boy.
All I have to do is drink the blood of 7 virgins. I'm going to a place called
Fun Foreverland.
There's no school there because every day is Sunday.
So what do you do all day in Fun Foreverland?
Mostly crystal meth. And you can come too, buddy. No, I need to go to school and be a boy.
Then the wagon shows up, and the wagon looks amazing. And of course, Pinocchio is charmed into going to Fun Foreverland.
They whoop it up Mardi Gras style. It's a non-stop party.
It's just frolicking and noise-making and gunny sack races and all kinds of really stupid things that don't seem that fun, but are loud. And so
the cricket's there looking for him.
Pinocchio!
Take a break from your ceaseless bacchanalia. Boy, I wish I was in Fun Foreverland. You know what I would do? I would go...
I would go... Pinocchio and Leonardo spend the night in this place. What they didn't know is...
boys who spend time in Fun Foreverland turn into donkeys. And they're taken off into donkey servitude by these unscrupulous men.
As you can see, they are young and freshly made.
And very trafficable. Pinocchio wakes up in the morning.
He always does everything half-assed.
Come on, Leonardo, let's go!
He has donkey ears. He goes to see his buddy Leonardo.
Good morning, Leonardo. How are you?
Fun.
On 3, we take off the towels at the same time.
And then we show each other our penises. Same thing happened to him. Apparently, Leonardo had a lot more fun than Pinocchio because his transformation is a lot more accelerated. Eugene Ionesco's Pinocchio turns into a full-blown, real-deal donkey. And that same thing eventually happens to Pinocchio, and he becomes a performer in the Donkey Circus.
Ring of fire!
Eventually, he's just exhausted and useless. I don't want to be a beast of burden. I need fussing and I need nursing.
So they put him in a sack and throw him in the ocean.
Oh no, look, it's a whale. No, it's a shark. And it swallows Pinocchio whole.
Oh, I've been swallowed!
He hears a voice talking to him.
My name's Geppetto.
It's me, Pinocchio, the puppet!
The two are reunited, and they escape from the shark. Geppetto is in poor health because of his ordeal.
I must have a glass of milk. If I don't have one soon, I'll die.
What? He's got like reverse lactose intolerance.
Pinocchio, you must work so you can buy me a glass of milk.
Meanwhile, at the old sloops.
Pinocchio works at a farm. Oh, this is what Conan the Barbarian did. It made him big and strong. Pinocchio's gonna get ripped.
I drink your milk.
He goes into the shed of the farmer and he sees this sick donkey. Nice ass. Come on, say nice ass.
Yeah, do it.
Come on, do it. It'll be really funny.
Yeah.
Nice ass.
Yeah.
What a handsome donkey you are.
He messes everything up.
He does.
Pinocchio.
It's my old friend Leonardo. Hey, buddy, how you doing? The donkey dies.
Well done, Pinocchio.
What?
The next day when they wake up, he's real.
He looks at his former self sprawled there in the corner in puppet pose. It's time for me to go to school. But we see that a little bit of the former mischievous Pinocchio has not left the boy.
That is the story of
Pinocchio.
Oh, life is beautiful!
Wow, that was a long walk.
Yes.
It made me nervous and agitated.
Yeah, it
just
was-
hearing that voice
It was
constantly.
so frantic.
And the guy who did Pinocchio, I mean, he really committed to his choices. I think that's a big reason why this movie was such a critical and box office failure. It's baffling. The cognitive dissonance of this middle-aged man playing this little boy. It never works.
Yeah.
It doesn't work from the first second to the last second. Benigni is a gifted physical comedian.
Yes.
But he wasn't doing stuff that some 18-year-old boy with clown training could also do.
Yeah.
It's like, did you ever see that movie with Catherine Zeta-Jones and Sean Connery? It's from the early 90s or the mid-90s. They play thieves.
Yeah.
Mike Essercon told me the story. He saw it in the theater. Catherine Zeta-Jones is a very sexy young lady. Connery is probably in his mid-late 60s at that point. They have this really passionate kiss. And he said the whole movie theater went, ew. There was not a good reaction.
I remember that.
Because she's too young and he's too old and no one
Yeah.
wants to see that. It's not sexy.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt for this whole movie. Like,
Yeah.
No.
Right.
He's running around. He's calling himself a boy. He's going off to school. I'm not buying any of it.
Sometimes you get to a certain point in life, you just can't pull off these things anymore.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
it could be that Europe is sort of adhering more to the traditions of acting where this old English actor was 70 years old and he was still playing Hamlet.
Yeah.
Because that was his role.
Or Peter Pan.
Yeah, exactly. The movie had some nice moments. When that carriage first shows up,
Yeah.
it looks really cool. And you think, okay, this is going to be a real fairy tale. Stuff like the shadow at the end. The attention to detail there was so good, and then the rest of it, Pinocchio is just jumping around and running around in circles. It's so lazy. If he's going to go out into the town and cause mischief, I want to see specific ways that he interacts with things to mess them up. I didn't want to see him just running around like a crazy puppet. There's no story there. There's no motivation.
The real magic of the Pinocchio story is that a wooden thing turns into a real thing. And here, he was just a person that everyone said was a puppet. They at least could have done something, right? To make him look more puppet-like.
Do you think it was meant to be more allegorical? All the stuff that happened with Pinocchio the puppet didn't really happen. It was a fantastical rendition of just a boy being naughty. At the end, we find out that the boy has kind of straightened out a little bit, and he's been a boy this whole time.
If you're going to commit to that as an allegory, you have to commit fully to it. I think visually and thematically.
Right.
You know?
It's really weird. First of all, it's very disappointing to hear John Cleese just phoning it in.
I know.
Giving this flat delivery. But then you cast Eric Idle, who has one of the most distinctive voices in forever.
Yeah.
And he's completely unrecognizable.
Oh my goodness me, I can't see a thing.
I would never guess that was him.
No, not in a million years.
And so why him if he's going to completely... I don't get it.
I don't either.
You should have gotten the sense that this is a world where there's a giant who owns a theater. There are a fox and a cat walking around. I didn't get the sense that this was that world. And they even say it at the beginning. Isn't it great that we live in a world where animals talk? But it wasn't enough, and it didn't work.
You did not feel that same sense of being somewhere else throughout the movie.
Like in the way you do, say, in Time Bandits or The Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
And a movie like that has more coherence than this one.
Well, Pinocchio's strings have been wound up and he's been packed away. We are done with Pinocchio, but we're not done with Seen It.
Seen It.
You Girl Dude. Have you guys covered the new D&D movie? As a D&D player, I enjoyed it a lot.
I, as a lifelong role player, was pleasantly surprised by this film.
Why were you pleasantly surprised?
They captured the best of both worlds because they put a decent story in. It's basically a heist movie. And then they also put in tons of stuff for longtime D&D fans.
Morden Kanan.
Yeah, exactly.
I accept that this is an action comedy.
Yeah.
And there were certain humorous set pieces that really worked well. And then there's just a lot of lazy... nothing jokes. If you're going to spend $200 million to make a movie, you can have a decent script.
Yeah.
This drives me up a wall where you have these huge budget movies and the script is just shit.
Yeah.
And the script wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
And also, they could have done a little bit more with the language, making it a little bit more fantasy oriented.
Yeah.
Instead of people going like, oh, bad hair day or whatever, and saying things like that. That's what frustrates me.
Yeah.
Is writing and language and the unimaginative use of it.
Nathan Harvey, American Sniper.
Seen It.
Seen It.
It's a movie that sort of celebrates the military and it celebrates the gun-related accomplishments of this man.
Yes.
I just find it really bizarre the way they do the ending. This guy, Chris Kyle, the American Sniper, he takes a schizophrenic man who he knows is crazy, takes him to a gun range, puts a gun in the guy's hand, the guy kills him. So it seems to be a movie that makes a case for gun control, which is something I'm sure that Clint Eastwood has no interest in.
Right.
It's sort of done as an afterthought at the end of the movie. By the way, this thing happened to this guy at the end of his life.
Right.
But let's not think about that.
Yeah.
And it's strange.
The thing that originally drew me to go see it is that it's based on a real story.
Yeah.
In some ways, their hands were tied because that's how the real story ended, you know? They can't really change that if they're going to honor the real person.
That would just be pure propaganda.
Right.
Clint Eastwood, he has his political whatever, but I don't think he would engage in something like that.
Right. It is very jarring.
And it's sad. This guy who really should have known better, this guy who's more of a firearms expert than this guy.
Right.
And yet he does something so reckless to end his own life. Nick Rester, the 1979 Hal Ashby film Being There. One of the most challenging movies I've seen. Seen it.
Seen it.
I never realized when I first watched it how prescient it was about politics. There's the guy, and then there's all the people behind the guy. And when he's in power, they're in power. When he's not in power, they're no longer in power.
Yeah.
We need to run the guy who's going to win. We're not going to run the best guy or the most qualified guy.
Yeah.
We're going to run whoever is going to win, even if it's this weird man-child gardener who doesn't really know anything.
Yeah.
He's our perfect candidate. You know, it's just like, that's politics right there.
What I remember enjoying about it is the fact that sort of this innocent, unpretentious person could sort of solve a lot of the world's problems.
Or appear to.
Exactly.
You hear him talk and you think he's saying one thing, but he's actually not saying that.
Right. Average Joe's 31, UHF. There are still bits from this film that I quote today.
Seen it.
Seen it.
I know this is a film that's very near and dear to your heart.
Yeah, huge Weird Al fan. Seen him, I think, 4 or 5 times in concert. I've always thought he was a genius since the first day I heard him on Dr. Demento.
Huh.
You know, like 50 years ago almost.
Are there still bits from this film that you quote to this day?
There are still things in my head that are very vivid. Gandhi 2. Part of Weird Al's charm and his genius is how much he embraces stupidity, which in my mind actually elevates it to higher humor.
Huh. There's a place you can go that might make you feel like a kid again. Sure, why not? It's our website, welcometothebasementshow.com. Our entire back catalog of episodes are there. Every episode we've ever done, including ones you can't see on YouTube anymore, like The Meg. And there are also PayPal donation buttons that you can click on to make a one-time or rolling monthly donation to support this show. Your support is greatly appreciated. Go check out the website and make a contribution. If you want to see more Brad and Matt chat, you can watch Unboxing, which comes out this coming Friday. We're going to open the mail, answer questions. It's going to be a lot of fun. We hope to see you there. And now, take a look at this.
Anyway,
I have a man who comes to the shark to bring me bread once a week. He's my bread guy. I also have a wine guy. He comes to the shark every other week and brings me some wine.
And finally there's the tablecloth guy. He only comes once a month.